I feel like people were popping off on Instagram 5-10 years ago way
About
more than
other
they
Asian
do.
artists?
Yeah, way more than they do now.
I
I feel like I
genuinely
heard
don't
more
know.
micro dramas back then, and there's
Yeah.
like less micro dramas now.
Maybe we were all just younger.
Maybe we were.
You know?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
You
we're
know?
just like old and.
Maybe we're just so grateful to have each other now.
Oh, that's so
No,
cute.
yeah. Because
We
I
are
really.
great. Well, raising tide does raise all boats. Just got stressed when you talked about adulting.
You got stressed talking about adulting?
Yeah.
Do you think is podcasting an adult thing? Like, does that feel like a thing adults do, or is it?
It feels very millennial. I
It
think.
feels very millennial.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if there was like a millennial bingo game?
Free space. Having a podcast or being on one is the free space in a millennial
okay.
bingo
Cool,
game.
cool.
Yeah.
Would you ever run your own podcast? Do you want a podcast?
No, I do not.
If you had to have a podcast, what would you do?
Okay. If I had a podcast, what would you go first.
I
do
go
you think?
first. I think like the reality is I don't really like podcasts that aren't conversational or parasocial,
Me too.
because actually so much of the longevity of a podcast is like personas or people or like a sense of familiarity.
Yeah.
Unless they're like a short mini series
Yeah.
exploring a very specific thing for very spur.
I do love those.
Like I really like the
And you get really nerdy about something.
Lolita podcast where they're
I don't
kind of like
know. Do they read some chapters and talk
no,
about
they
it?
sort of like demystify its reputation
I'm
a
going
little
to
bit.
listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
when I
that
get
was really good.
home.
That was the last like informative,
Ah.
deep, serious podcast I listened to, and then the rest are always conversational. But I'm not really a tried and true podcast person.
I love podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do?
But they're very boring podcasts. I just listen to current events because I just want to like a little 10-minute snippet of what's going on in the world every morning.
Okay.
And then I'll listen to Film Bro podcasts.
Oh,
Where It's
yeah.
always men talking about movies. And
why,
it's just
why
because
don't
I
you
love
listen to
the
women
rabbit
talking
hole.
about movies?
Maybe I need to work harder to find podcasts where women are talking about movies. And I'm so sorry I'm not an ally. Don't put that in. I am an ally. But they're always a type of film bro talking about talking about movies. And then I like going down the nerdy rabbit hole about how someone receives something.
Do you have a favourite film, bro?
I don't want to talk about it.
Do you have a favourite film, bro?
No, I'm not going to talk about it. But my podcast would be hyper-localized secrets. So I'd have or
like gossip.
Yeah, I'd get people on to talk about to get the gossip off their chest about really specific dramas that they're having, and it'd be anonymous.
Oh.
Like in the old days, they'd have gossip columns. They would be like, those riddles, like spotted outside, da 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 da.
Okay, yeah.
And I want a version of that for the podcast era. It's hyper specific, hyper local. That's my podcast. Why are we talking about this?
What would I do?
I just love gossip.
You just love gossip.
But not when it impacts me. I love other people's
Sure,
gossip.
of course.
Two degrees of
Of course,
separation
of
gossip.
course.
Yeah, it's juicy. It's theatre.
That's theatre. I'm trying to think what I would... I think like on paper it would be some sort of like deep dive into film, but I don't actually know if I would have the longevity or the endurance to do that for more than like a few episodes.
Yeah.
Like, you know me, I'm quite like fickle and I get bored easily and my attention span...
Why not theatre?
I think it's worthwhile, but it's hard doing a thing that's permanent about a thing that's permanent but also kind of fleeting in its own right, episodically, about a thing that is actually intangible and fleeting. It's just like it's a lot of moving parts that require lots of context to get what it's saying, because
Yes.
like you, it's unlikely that people will like deep dive into
Yeah.
unless they're big podcasts.
Yeah.
A thing just for the sake of it. Like it feels more like news. So it's like
Yeah.
news about theatre can be feel very fleeting.
Yeah, I think that's the trouble with the whole art. It's not the trouble with the whole art form, but it's something that's difficult about the art form, that it's so fickle that you have to be there to see it. It's hyper.
I think a profile about an artist or about a theatre maker is one thing,
Yeah.
but like about a theatre show is really difficult.
It's really hard, and if you don't live in the city and you can't see the show,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I think it's also like the way that it's not archived is really hard as well. I just want there to be a little bit more longevity around these shows, and I want there to be a stronger archive of our histories and all the communities that come together to like.
I think there's part of me that's like, I don't know if I'd actually truly do this, but I like the romance or the utopian ideal of a podcast that's churning out new radio plays by cool new playwrights, and they're actually really like great radio plays and the commissions, and then you're developing people's voices and work.
Yeah.
Sort of like what RNZ used to do with their radio
That's
drama
right.
channel, which I
Yeah.
don't believe is.
No.
Yeah.
And they tried to bring it back.
Yeah.
but
Like something like
couldn't.
that. Like make radio plays great again.
Yeah.
How are you feeling in your position right now?
Like physically?
Yeah, physically.
How are you feeling? I'm feeling fine.
What if
I've got back support.
what if I do a countdown 3, 2, 1, and then we shuffle and find a new, more comfortable position, even if you're really comfortable.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I'm just going to sink further and further
How do you
into
feel?
my
How do you feel now?
I just went back to the same position.
I feel better though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and there was like
you could have just done that.
No, I think it's more theatrical to make a big deal out of
He
it
loves
on a
bit.
podcast.
That's true.
Should we dive into these
Yeah.
cards?
I love these cards.
Okay, there's the first one's creativity.
Okay.
What do you dream of creating? How do you feel about your creative process at the moment? Do you want me to go first? Do you feel locked
go
and loaded?
first. I don't feel locked and loaded.
I'm going to start with the second one. How do you feel about your creative process at the moment? I'm,
Yeah.
as you know, but for the viewers out there, I'm in grad school. I'm doing my MFA in playwriting. I've just completed my first year, it's not been a whole year, but it's like the first year as in 2 full semesters in my MFA, where I'm at the University of Texas at Austin in the Michener Center for Writers doing a specialization in playwriting. And it's quite challenging in the sense that I don't know if I actually do well with too much time doing one thing.
That's right. You're like a stress cadet. Like you need a deadline and you need to like
deadline.
pump
I'm a stress
towards
cadet,
that.
but I think like constantly doing lots of things is more conducive to the way my brain works.
Yes.
Like I work in a way that flow is achieved when I'm not putting all the eggs in one basket
Yeah.
creatively. And I think there's a lot of pressure to like do really good work when you're in a program to do really good work or to be better. So I think that's been, in the second semester, I found that quite confronting, and you have to deal with your ego around like what is good work and
and
failure.
how do you deal with that? I mean, I'm going through similar feelings, but obviously not in a structured form. And I'd love to hear how you confront that.
First semester was a lot better. It was great because the adrenaline of the new was doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
Whereas,
It's like writing the first draft.
yeah, I like writing the first draft, writing the wave.
Yeah. And then you have to, the real writing happens on the second draft.
It's a bit of that. I think I'm also getting stuck on a lot of first drafts at the moment where I'm overthinking it.
Yeah.
Whereas in my first semester, I wasn't overthinking so much.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do the program. I wanted to go overseas, study to deepen my practice. But maybe I didn't reckon with what deepening one's practice looks like. Like, what does that look like? And I'm like, I thought more space, and it is more space, but what do you do with all that space? And what do you do with all that space is, I guess, discipline. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't actually built that muscle for that sort of discipline.
Oh no.
I've built a muscle for like stress work and working really well under pressure theoretically, and crunchiness and kind of a hectic sort of hustle culture way of being. But in terms of having allocated time and space where I'm expected to just write and think about the thing all the time, it starts to become overthinking for me.
That's where I get to too. And then I don't know how to translate the overthinking into like actual put it in the work. And then I go, but the passive thinking is still contributing to the work. Like I trick myself into thinking that all the Google tabs are part of the process, which is true. But also at some point, I do have to write the thing.
Yeah.
I'm getting stuck there too.
What do you dream of creating?
What do I dream of creating? I'm not sure. I'm in a really funny part of my practice. So I guess like the last thing I really made would be in 2022 when I did Kāinga and First Primetime Asian Sitcom. And then I was so supremely burnt out that year. Like having done these 2 genuinely like bucket list goals. I was like, I want to get a film in the film festival and I want a play to be staged. And then I ticked them both in 1 year. And then, but I felt really bad. Like, I was so burnt out, and I should have been like the happiest I've ever been in my life. And so I got a full-time job, which would solve everything, obviously.
Yeah.
And then after I did that, I've sort of been now in a place where I used to freelance, and I used to feel like I had all the time that I could mold into my creative practice and keep working towards it. And now I'm like trying to steal moments to do it. I'm trying to do it in mornings, and I'm trying to do it at nights, but there's only so much energy that I have, that I feel like I'm Asian. I've got so much guilt, so I'm like guiltily trying to push myself through writing a thing and falling short, it feels like, and that's been really, really confronting. But what has been really great is talking to other people about their process and their like feelings towards the creative journey, because it might not be a match fit for me, but to be in constant conversation with other people who are in process also is actually really illuminating and helpful.
Do you think the project you're stuck with at the moment, is that what you dream of creating though?
Well, I think as you get older, I'm speaking like a wizened old crone, I think there's this interesting thing where I feel like I'm at the intersection of, like, in the arts, what do you want to make, and who wants you, and what does someone else want you to make? Like, what is value to them and what's value to you? And sometimes I feel like you have to bridge those things to get something up. And that's just the reality of it. Like, we are living in a world where art is in an economy, it's in an industry, a very specific industry that's localized to where you're at. And I'm really struggling right now to try and navigate, like, how do I write the work that I might feel the most fulfilled by, which I don't even have the answer to that right now, to be honest. But, like, and how does that get made in reality? Like, who will present it? Who will back it? Who will support me? What will the funders want? You know, like, negotiating that dream with the reality of the world, I'm finding really, really hard right now where I'm at. And I hope that changes soon. But it's just being realistic in some ways, I guess. Is that really cynical?
I think it's not that it's cynical, but I do think there's something around that answer for me that feels like it's no longer about the dream. You know, it's about, like, what the compromise to achieve the dream is. And then it's no longer the dream.
Yes.
Because I feel like the things that I've enjoyed the most aren't like the dream, but weren't encumbered by actually trying to compromise to make it happen. Like, all the things I've enjoyed the most are just things that maybe I wasn't actually even properly paid for at the time or at a certain process, but it was at my purely at my whim. And even if it was impulse or curiosity or like almost like a bit at the time, a bit that came to fruition. And maybe if I was a different sort of artist or a different sort of workhorse, I would find more fulfillment in doing things for spec or doing things on commission or doing things for other people or doing things at the intersection. But I don't know if I am. Like, the more I've been, I guess, let's say I've been playwriting properly since 2013. Let's say that's when I wrote my first play, which I think is correct. I wouldn't say that's when I was a playwright, but that's when I wrote my first play.
Wonder.
So I've been doing it on and off for over 10 years, and it's only really been possible in the moments where there was, I don't know if it's like the dream project, but it felt like, let's just do it. Let's just be random. Let's, like, I probably shouldn't, or there was no true encumbered sense of, or no pressing sense of expectation. Most of the time.
I think that was
at
also
some points,
reflective in your writing, though. I think, like, so much of your writing feels like you are leaning into the dream, your dream first, which is, I think, is beautiful. And, like, the ways that you are unfiltered, you're full-hearted, and you just go.
That's really sweet.
It's true, and you people can feel that, and people are inspired by that, and audiences are moved by that. I think that's really amazing.
But actually, if what the dream would be of creating, I was saying this to a friend I was catching up with last night. I think the dream, if I was given the opportunity to do a dream, probably wouldn't even be in writing or a play. It would be it's probably, no, I don't think it's in creation per se. Oh my god. I think that's like a meme rather than a dream. I think it's like returning to curatorial practice.
Wow.
Isn't
In
that
what
strange?
way? What do you mean, curatorial practice?
I don't think it necessarily means going back to specifically programming theatre in Basement or at
Yeah.
Auckland Pride.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But I do think it means building something where I'm engaging with multiple artists
Yeah.
in conversation with each other.
You're really good at that. Community builder.
Yeah, I think there is an element of community building
Yeah.
for sure, but it's certainly arts centered as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I've got like the savvy to do it purely on a social practice level, purely
Yeah.
on a political level.
Yeah.
But I think there is something around when I felt like I was doing curatorial practice or programming well, I was like, oh, I think I'm actually kind of okay at this.
Yeah.
Like genuinely felt that
You're
at
great
times.
at it.
And whereas with playwriting, I think it's always actually, I don't think I'm ever in a state where I'm like, I'm good at this. Like I'm like, I think I know what I'm doing, but it's never like, I'm good at this. It's always filled with
'Cause
actually.
it's always resistance.
It's always
though.
resistance.
It's always
There's
resistance.
always
I hate people that are like, it just comes to me. I'm like, what? It's suffering the whole time for me.
I think there are moments that can come to you, right?
Like,
Like
it does come
sections,
to you,
right?
but then for me, the predominant
predominant feeling.
is that I'm like working.
Yeah. Fraught with like doubt
Yeah.
and shame and
Yeah.
embarrassment.
Yeah.
One of my like idols came to the Michener Center to do like a talk and kind of short workshop, Annie Baker, and she talks about how everything she's written, every play she's written basically embarrasses her, like except maybe one, because she looks back on it fondly and was like, I was doing something interesting there, but all the
Yeah.
other works, even though she knows it's not healthy, she's like,
Yeah.
actually, even if someone comes up to her and is like, I love that play, she's like, she's actually filled with a deep embarrassment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I don't feel that way, but I understand that feeling deeply.
I understand that.
Whereas there's something around when I was doing curatorial practice, and maybe this is, you'll relate as a producer of theatre, is that I'm decentered slightly.
Yes. Yes.
So my sense of shame
yeah.
is lessened.
Yes. And also, you if you believe in another artist, you can kind of champion them
Yeah, it's
full
easier
heart.
to-
It's so easy to not so easy, but it's
Easier.
to
Yeah.
back somebody else as an artist because you really believe in
Yeah.
it. You don't have the parts of the self-doubt in your own self because
Yeah.
it's about somebody else, and you're creating systems to help them bypass and be able to fulfill what they want to do. And I
Totally.
think that's really important for me in my creative producing practice. Just be like, I can be the champion and the advocate for this artist, and I can try and create the systems in which nudge them to make the best work that they can do, and that is important for me, and that's important for the world. But it's really embarrassing to say.
But it's like so much easier than, it's so much easier to say someone else is hot shit than I'm hot shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't-
Especially in this country.
Especially in this country, especially as Asian diaspora,
Yeah,
especially
double
in
bind.
an industry, let's say, in this context, let's say theatre, just
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, it could be anything else, but which is like a niche within a niche, right?
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like it's an embarrassing art form in a way,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like not glamorous until it is, but it's generally not that glamorous. Do you think it's glamorous, or do you
I
think
kind of think it's glamorous.
that's nice? I don't think
That's
it's
nice.
no, I don't find it that
Damn.
glamorous,
Oh, okay.
but I don't need it to feel glamorous. It just isn't to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like grungy and a little stinky and a little sticky and you know, with all that said, I don't think I'm a great curator, full stop, and I think I've made a lot of mistakes. And I've made a lot of like
That's the learning.
flop things and flop encounters and maybe mishandled artists or felt mishandled by artists in trying to handle them. But it was something I like when I fully believed in it, I could really back it and myself as
Yeah.
well. I could back it myself. Whereas even when I loved a play, I think it required someone else to be my advocate to really believe in
Yeah.
it, or at least the support of someone else to find the confidence. Like
Yes.
I've arrived at confidence in some of my
Yeah.
theatre work for sure.
Yeah.
But I think there was always a champion there.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't need a champion to do good curation.
You are the champion.
You are the champion.
You are
I
the
can be the thing that I want, you know?
Yeah.
And Julia Croft and I talked about this a lot when we worked at Auckland Pride together. It's like you get to do wish fulfillment or travel in time to be the thing for younger you.
Yes.
Which is sort of ego in some sick way then, but like not really. Like I think
It's
there's like
also a sense of
healing.
altruism.
Yeah, it's healing, right?
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
queer healing and it's like queer time travel and
Yeah.
I'm like, whereas
And-
being a playwright is unfortunately wrestles too much with ego. You know, there's too much ego involved.
Yeah, it's really complicated.
It's really complicated. So I don't know. Is there a thing that you truly feel like would be the dream? You know?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about.
Or
Honestly,
dreamy.
this is really sad. Oh, not sad. Oh god, I forget I'm being recorded. I mean, I think I've leaned into my producing practice in the last 3 or 4 years. I created a theatre company that I wanted to like center artists, and then to center artists to do their work that is artistically challenging and dreamy and anything, and basically like to answer like what would be your dream project that like defies what other people want or expect from you, like what is that. And I wanted to create the systems to be able to make that, which is why I created Punctum, to support artists. And it was really specifically like small, it was hyper local, because I know that's nimble and I know that we can do it with less risk, and there were just some parameters that I wanted to put around it, just so I knew that everyone could be, even though it's small, it was in a financial structure that people can get paid the most that they could in that situation, that they could show the best parts of the artistic practice in an environment that was safe. Like there were all of these things that I wanted for this production company, but right now I think it swung a lot in that direction, where I was in service to a lot of other people, and I just and of course a lot of this is also navigating who I am, and also like my gender, and you know, all of these other elements to it that I can't help but project. But now I'm like, I kind of want to do that for me. Like I want to do the weirdo thing that maybe doesn't make any sense financially, but is maybe artistically interesting for me or nourishing for me. So I guess my dream project would be doing a short film of some version that like maybe isn't narratively robust or is more experimental art. A lot of my like I always think about Maya Deren, who's like one of my icon dream filmmakers, who is this amazing surrealist female director, so avant-garde and so like ahead of her time, and kind of like the real ones know Maya Deren, but like but like she's kind of forgotten in like the canon of like great directors, you know. And I would love to try and find like a purity and an artistic impulse that I'm interested in, and whether that's an artistic impulse or whether that's like, I don't know, maybe more narrative, I'm not sure yet, but I just want to get to the purity of like who I am and my voice, and just give it a punt, really. I guess that's the dream. Like, how do we make the utopia for ourselves to be artistically daring, and will that connect with other people? I'm not sure, but like that feels pure to me and important to me, and I feel like I've been trying to do that for other people, and just in this moment in time I'd like to go back to try do it for myself. And I think that's why the format of the short film is actually really enticing. Like there's something about like the nimbleness of the smallness of it that allows for more experimentation, more risk taking. I think if you're doing this like big thing, I'm not quite there yet. There are lots of voices in the room when it comes to like a bigger medium. I think a short is kind of a fascinating medium, because you can do.
We can sprint towards experimentation rather than try to marathon experimentation. It's just like sustaining experimentation across an hour. 20, hour 30, 2 hours or so. Hard.
So
also
and
the
there are different expectations. Like audiences,
Yeah.
there's always like, you have to hook audiences in the first 60 seconds or they're going to turn their TV
Also,
off.
you can
and
self-fund
I just, like, don't really want to have to
short
think
film.
about that right now.
Like it's feasible
You
to
can
self-fund
a short film. Yeah.
It's really hard to self-fund a feature.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, you know, you're breaking on.
I think there's just less expectation. I think you're like unshackled from having to think about like, someone watching this on Netflix will turn it off, or someone's not going to pay attention to this while folding laundry, which was seriously what someone has said to me. Like they were like, they want to commission work that someone can watch while folding laundry, and I was just like, that's great, but I don't know if that's like what I want to be thinking about when I'm making work right now. I don't know. Maybe that's egotistical. Yeah.
I don't think
that's egotistical, but
I don't think that's egotistical. I mean, I guess it's like,
it's a dream.
It's hopeful.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Starting small, like pure.
Do you think that the stream is in the horizon, like the immediate horizon, in any way?
I mean, like, I'm not making practical steps right now, but I think it's really achievable. I've got like amazing community of artists and collaborators that I feel like I've leaned on. They've leaned on me, and like I think to have someone that is willing to believe in you is really crucial to be able to make work.
Yeah.
Like community is hard because it can be fickle and critical but ultimately, like, they will be there for you when you need them, and that's just how I'm feeling right
That
now.
kind of leads us to the next question.
Yeah.
Community. How do you see yourself strengthening your community / sense of community? Any hot takes on community in quotes at the moment?
Oh.
I mean, you know, what we're talking about really relates to this, you know, the need for community to make the dream happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
or the dream is about community.
Yes.
And it's sort of like a snake,
Yes.
self-eating snake, or
Yeah.
a self-feeding snake in this
Yeah.
case. And like, actually, the curatorial practice that I most recently, I guess, did was not institutionalized. It was doing a little thing really with friends or colleagues, gay Asian makers experimental residency or GAMA. It was just like, in lieu of anything institutional, we just threw up
So great.
and threw up like
So
events or
great.
space and
Yeah.
jammed. You know, it was, we're riffing, we're jamming, we're hanging. It's really about intuitive making and just hanging out. And I think there's something around like that's what draws me to theatre as a maker, is the social practice element of hanging out and working with your friends and getting to know them deeply.
Yeah.
Even though I really love film, I don't know if the social practice element is something that exists there
there's
that
such a hierarchy
feeds me
there.
anyway,
Yeah.
or it's not something I've been able to like
Yeah.
penetrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I've seen time and time again the social element, the communal element,
Yeah.
you know, and the failure of that,
Yeah.
but within a live performance, theatre,
Yeah.
interdisciplinary, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, context. And like when that feels good, it's truly, to me, like utopian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a liveness to theatre. Audiences come and they witness your work firsthand.
Yeah.
And-
But aliveness to the process that feels like when it's really good, you truly believe that maybe even if the show is bad,
Yeah.
hey, it's the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, yeah. There's a collaborative,
Yeah.
there's an inherent collaboration to it that like exists in making the work, but also I think witnessing the work as
Yeah.
well. People have to gather, they have to be there and spend and experience the work together, and it's like a wild animal the way that like an audience can ripple and react to work, and that's beautiful as well, to be in conversation with your community as you're doing it. I think like the making of the work is so beautiful and rich in collaboration with your community, but also there's this other thing, this like monkey gathering aspect of community that I really love in theatre. In film, it's like I love it because I will be the first to buy a ticket and be the only person in a theatre watching Devil Wears Prada 2 in the dark. But like I think that you don't get as much of like this collaboration, and it's also in the inherent structure of a film when you make one. It's top down, and you just do what the person at the apex of the pyramid wants you to do.
Yeah,
and
and
that's hard.
It's a funny thing for me. Like in some way, I generally actually prefer watching films by myself. You know.
I love watching films by myself.
In some ways, that is my preferred mode because there's something
Yeah.
about actually watching it with other people can sometimes actually ruin or glitch the experience for me in a
Yeah.
way that is off-putting or distracts from it.
Yeah.
Whereas weirdly, unless, you know, obviously watching bad theatre can be a kind of torturous group experience because you feel bad. But
It's
generally,
so torturous.
because you feel bad about putting
It
other
should be a
people through
torture
it.
method. Oh no, sorry.
But like, let's say the assumption in good faith is it's good or
Yeah.
fine. Actually, it's a really fun like social sport going to theatre.
It is.
together.
It absolutely is. I think that sport and theatre have a lot more in common than we think.
For sure. Yeah. So I don't know. Like for me, there's the curatorial thing. Feels like it's weird. Like making was my gateway into arts and culture and a lot of community, but maybe it's not what I ultimately see myself doing. It's just like one of my prongs.
Well, it's one of the many prongs. You're
Yeah,
not gonna
and it's the
go
thing
out
I'm
other one.
most focused on at the moment because I went to grad school for it,
Yeah.
and I really want to say I don't not want to be at grad school for it, and it is confronting, but I'm where I need to be or want to be. I just think ultimately, I don't think I'm like a lifetime playwright, full time forever. I think I'll
Cut
dip.
that bit out. I refuse to hear it.
I think I'll dip.
Cut
in
it out.
I think I'll dip in and out of it when
I think
it feels
that's healthy.
right.
That's healthy
Yeah.
too. Like the time.
Yeah.
The time will come to you when it
Yeah.
needs to. Everything
And
arrives.
and sure, maybe I'd like to make a film as well at some time.
Yeah.
But like, actually, the thing that I go is I go towards feeling, like honestly connected to is and like weirdly a flow state with when it's good.
Yeah.
Because again, I've done it badly as a curatorial practice and figuring out what that is for me. I feel like
Yeah.
I've got so many questions about alternative independent, underground, curatorial practice that isn't institutionalized,
Yeah.
or is within an institution, and you get
So
to worm your
needed.
way through it in a playful way.
I can't.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. Working in the
yeah.
system is hard.
But truly, it was so magical we did Gamer once at Te Wā in Ōtautahi, Christchurch, and we just hung out essentially for a week,
So good.
kind of jamming, talking about a practice,
Yeah.
making work together, kind of invited a small audience to like share the work with, but it kind of, there was no point in which one thing was the main thing.
Yeah.
Like it coalesced in a showing, but really the heart of it was we were hanging and
That's
jamming.
the dream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we all, real community, and this is sort of antithetical to like equity or like reimbursing or I don't know, paying people for their time properly. But we just wanted to do it for each other, and
Yeah.
that was what made it possible.
Yeah.
Because in some ways, we removed all the strings of
Yeah.
money from it.
Yes.
Because actually, we liked each other enough to
Yes.
do it in that way.
I think that's where my producing practice gets in the way, though, because so much of producing is trying to find out the line in which you will ask for people to kind of donate their time to something because they believe in a bigger purpose versus like trying to remunerate them for that time and
Totally.
not having the resources
But
to do it.
I think often that's
I
the
really
case
trap myself
because
in that.
you're asking to do something for you to some degree, even if it's their role. Whereas I feel like I don't really believe there's like a truly socialist version of this yet
Yeah.
that I've done.
Yeah.
But the invitation is like, hey, do you want to go on a holiday with me? Do you want to go to a music festival with me?
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's almost that's the feeling.
Yeah.
And
It's
we
a very
happen to
healthy way to
jam
look
and
at
make
it.
art, and we love and truly like each other enough that in
Yes.
good faith,
Yes.
there will be no moment where we're like,
Yes,
I can't
but
believe
you still
I'm
need
doing
to make
this.
sure everybody's engaging in good faith. I
Yes.
think that's where
That's
it falls
really hard.
apart.
100%.
You're not engaging in
Yeah.
good faith, and then you're just trapped because you
Yeah.
agreed to do something.
100%.
Not that I've been there, but I've been in producing situations in which that is trouble. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But I think right now in my life, I'm really enjoying community again. Like I've worked for an organization for the last 3 years, and I've been more disconnected to like the Asian arts community here in Tāmaki Makaurau, and I just feel like I didn't realize the ways in which that had diffused into my bones. And then now I'm kind of like, and when I wrote the first Primetime Asian sitcom, I was really at odds and wrestling with community because there was so much I wanted from Asian art at that point in time too. And for some reason I thought like I wanted artists to fulfill that for me, you know. I was like, I wanted there to be more robust discussion. I wanted work to be like better, kind of.
So are you saying you don't feel like you want those things anymore, or in the same way? What's shifted?
I think I was wrestling with community in a different way, where I was asking for something that I don't know was reasonable from artists, and the second act of Primetime is basically like us all being in a cacophony of opinions and ideas to us to be better, to no real resolution or to and since then I've realized with some time that right now my Asian artist friends are showing up for me, and they're showing me that the fucking real ones.
And this is the thing, I would not be where I am, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Where I am is such a
I was fighting
abstract.
with community 4 years ago. I was being feisty. I was like, give me the art I want, give me more. Like let's have the hard conversations. And now I'm like, oh, actually, that's not about that. I don't know.
They will be
what
there
I wanted from
for,
community has
they've been the
shifted.
most consistent part of my practice is like
Yeah.
my arts community, and that doesn't always mean
Yeah.
Asian, but like predominantly has
Yeah.
been,
Yeah.
because we understand collectively the experience of ostracization,
Yeah.
tokenization.
Yeah.
We will be there for each other even if we don't like each other's work. And I've seen this time and time again.
Yes.
And like genuinely, there's a lot of people I think, you know, whose aesthetics and tastes don't necessarily align.
But it's totally a taste and an opinion
Yeah,
thing. It's like
yeah.
there's no right or wrong around it.
And being in Austin, Texas, where I have some community, but it's a very new community, and
Yeah.
they're all very lovely. And this goes back to an ego thing, but I really miss having the recognition of myself through the other.
Yeah.
That's something I don't get as much in Austin, and
Yes.
shouldn't expect because they don't know me that well.
And that's something I feel really grateful for
Yeah.
here.
Because if I didn't have that, I don't have a strong enough center as an artist to do that
yeah.
myself. As you know, as is kind of apparent with me preferring curation.
Well, I'm just in a moment of kind of like being deep in and trying to figure out my voice and who I am, and it's very wonderful to have other people whose opinions I value see that back to me and reflect that back to me and go, oh yeah, I remember who I am a little bit more. And you support me even though I haven't made anything in 4 years.
It's actually not true. But also, you quantify that very differently to, because I
have
do
produced
see,
for the last I've produced.
But I know what you mean. It's really like you don't want to have to need it, but actually, if I do need it, which I do, then the Asian arts community here has been my most consistent. It's an abstract kind of thing. Asian arts community, like, what does that mean? Because it's like we're not saying all Asian artists are my community, but
But I also think the sense of community has changed significantly in the last 5 years. I think, like, if we're speaking specifically to Asian arts community as opposed to our immediate artistic collaborators, I think that there was a harsher sense of competition and scarcity and opportunity like 5-10 years ago, and I think that bred kind of a more bitchy community, maybe. I don't know, like a cutthroat community, a crueler community. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Is how I feel. Maybe you've been in the scene longer than I have. I don't know. But I just feel like this new wave of community is like recognizing that a rising tide raises all boats. I feel like a stronger sense of solidarity more recently. I'm not sure if that's because of I've tracked further in my career or like.
I know it's all very. It can be all very skewed. Because you can only see from your vantage point. So it's like, am I seeing things more sweetly and
I feel
rose
like it was
tinted because
harder. I feel like it was
I'm
harder
further
back
along,
then.
so people are less inclined to be vocally critical of me, things like that. But I don't. I'm not sure, but it feels. People feel nice.
I feel
which
like
feels
people
very,
were popping off on Instagram 5-10 years ago way
about
more
other
than
Asian artists.
Yeah, way more than they do now. Am I just not following the people popping off?
No, I feel like also. I don't know. It's such a complicated thing. I'm not sure. I feel
like I heard more micro dramas back then, and there's like less micro dramas now.
Maybe we were all just younger.
Maybe we were. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just like old and.
Maybe we're just so grateful to have each other now.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Because
we are great. When rising tide does raise all boats. Like...
No, I think we are just way more grateful to have each other. Like, truly, it's not specifically the Asian arts community, but like that's a big part of it is something I definitely don't have in Austin, Texas, and people who like directly resonate with a particular strain of my work.
Yeah,
and really, that's the Asian arts community was the thing that kind of gave me the turning point, or gave me enough in this turning point when I decided to lean into making Asian art. Yeah. Which was like a really weird, scary thing to return to. So for context, 2013 to let's say 2018, I was just like writing plays, and very rarely they were really Asian, but and I kind of I think became resistant to it. Yeah. And
you've had a whole journey with it.
Totally. And then in like 2018, 2019, I was like, I'll do one, and I'll do it on my terms, and it'll be dumb, and oh god, it's gonna be bad, isn't it?
Was it Rachel Chu?
That was Rachel Chu. I'm Rachel Chu, which was like I don't want to call it a satire, but deconstruction / response to Crazy Rich Asians. And it was sort of like, it was kind of like a meme. It was like me and Amanda Grace Leo in the car, her car, just sort of going, what if we responded to it? Because there's so much discourse about it. Yeah. And I don't even think either of us disliked the film. I think we were critical of it. But it was like interesting because how big of a chokehold it had on the culture. But as Asian New Zealanders, it's like really very little to do with us. It's like, so what did it mean to meet it? Yeah. What did it mean to find ourselves in the gaps of the work? And I thought that really changed my practice because it made me think about my Asianness in art.
And was that an intentional decision to go full force acknowledge the thing that you are grappling with into your future, or was it?
I think it became that as we progressed.
Is it liberating, or is it?
I think it was really liberating in the end because it was well received. And isn't that's hard? Like, would I feel positively about the work if it wasn't well received? And probably not. And how awful is that?
Well, Nathan, I've got a question for you. How spiritual would you say you are, and how does this impact your creative practice?
I don't really think of myself as that spiritual, but I guess this is probably the most pretentious thing I'll be talking about in this chat, is I've been thinking a lot about Kierkegaard recently, who's like a Danish philosopher, and I really love him. I really adore him because like a lot of his thinking is around faith, and he's probably one of my favorite thinkers who's religious or like believes in God, but ties it back to like the self and existentialism and aesthetics and art and lots of big questions. And in some ways, like faith is just like the feeling of faith rather than like faith in God. For me anyway, when I engage with his work. And I think there's something around faith and leaps of faith. No big guy in the sky, but belief in something bigger than us and believing that believing matters, I think is really important to me. And so much of his thing is about like the wrestle between the aesthetic self and the ethical self, and that there is something higher than just aesthetics and just ethics, and something greater. And leaps of faith are a big part of his discourse, like believing in something so much that even if it feels uncomfortable or scary, but you are such a knight of faith that you can make the leap. And I find that really potent because I don't really know if I think I've had that in moments. I've had that in moments. I'm like, and when you have that in moments, it feels greater than ego, it feels greater than yourself. And there's something in that abstract that I find really magical. And I don't know, as someone who has engaged with psychedelics in the past, like there is something in the being really present and something, and I wish I didn't have to engage with psychedelics to have to access that, but it does feel bigger than you. And that's so lame. It's like, does ayahuasca once? And it wasn't ayahuasca, but like it's very like that guy kind of energy. But it's not that. It's just I don't think I'm naturally inclined to be spiritual, but I know that there is. I have to believe there is. And when I access it or when I touch upon it, I'm like, wow, I am not a single unit, as my dear friend Stephen Park would say. I'm not a single unit. I am enmeshed amongst a web of people and things, and that's a sort of faith, and that's a sort of spirituality. To think that we are connected, and more than just because we are friends, or like our friendship goes beyond just like a social dynamic, or a psychological animal social dynamic. It's like something more special or amorphous or intangible than that. I must believe in that, and I must believe that art isn't just like, a narrative thing does a thing to my brain, and cool, cause and effect. Wow, suspense, because your ability to craft a narrative has tricked me, and that's made me feel a thing. Actually, I think great art is doing something mysterious that is inexplicable, and of course we try to explain it, of course, because we are sense-making creatures, but actually the great stuff feels mysterious. And that's faith, and that's spirituality to me.
Wow, I don't have nearly as good as a theory-laden answer.
But how do you feel about spirituality?
How do I feel about spirituality? Gosh, I mean, I always tie spirituality to, I think we have to tie spirituality with the fact that we're mortal, right? And it's like, it's meaning-making for our life here, and meaning-making for what do we put ourselves in service to in the afterlife. And I guess, it's been a little bit tricky for me because in my own personal upbringing, I grew up Christian and found that really, really hard because I felt that some values I felt were intolerant towards other communities that I really disliked, and so fell out of that. And then so coming back to spirituality and I guess sidestep religion to that has been happening later in my life, trying to recontextualize what is my life and who is the person that I want to be outside of that framework that I grew up with going forward. And I'm like you, I want to believe in something bigger. I want to believe in something that transcends our mere mortality. But I think it's like the fact that but also realizing that it will all come to an end is also a really beautiful way to live, to be like, what do I want to dedicate the fleeting moments of my life towards? And maybe that feeds into producing or the arts or whatever, but leaving the world in a better place than you came in with is like, I think, a spiritual aspect to your practice, wanting to make the world a better place, and maybe the impact of that is what I want to do. But also, I don't know, I want to I want to be zen and meditate and do all of these other beautiful discipline practices to be able to get my life in order as well.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Jenna. Thanks, producer Jenna. Should we finish these sentences? Okay, quick fire.
I'm in flow when...
I'm in flow when I talk to my artistic collaborators and my friends.
Honestly, low key, high key, literally the same. I'm in flow when I'm, vibing out, bantering, riffing with friends, creative friends. And we get to live in the dream. We live in the dream. It's actually not about the work.
Yes, living the dream. And then you get into flow state with each other.
Yeah.
And you're like...
I'm inspired by...
Oh, same answer. It's like,
It is
I'm
a low-key
inspired by
thing.
all of my amazing friends and artistic friends. And I'm just like, the work that they make and when they push themselves then beyond what I could expect from them, I'm like so proud of them. So inspired. And other artists, obviously. What about you?
I'd love to be known for...
Oh, what are you inspired by?
Oh, what am I inspired by? I'm inspired by, like... I do think, like, great art does inspire me.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
it-
I
and
agree,
it's like,
I agree.
That is just, like, the thing.
It's true, it's true.
And, like... But I'm also inspired by, like, just people living really good, honest lives. There's
Yeah, me too. It's rare.
Because I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Or like a sweetie pie old gay couple. That really inspires
Aw.
me. Yeah. I'd love to be known for. And this is the thing. I think there's maybe like a monkey brain, lizard brain thing that thinks it's like a great to be known for being a great playwright. But I don't know if that's true. I think that's just a nice little badge that helps me access other things. Or
Yeah.
it tempers the ego. But I'd love to be known for... Maybe this is like weirdly embarrassing and specific because it's like I think I see myself back in Ōtautahi in my hometown, Christchurch, like rebuilding an arts and culture scene there. And it doesn't necessarily mean as an artist, but like against it goes back to that curatorial practice thing,
Yeah.
emboldening people, inspiring people in the way that I've been inspired by people,
Yeah.
being a good mentor, being a
Yeah.
good teacher. I would
Yeah.
love to be a good teacher to people.
Yeah.
How amazing.
Yeah.
Because the great teachers and mentors I've had have really, I haven't had that many, but I've had enough that I'm like, damn. And I've got some now at grad school where I'm like, damn, you really know how to teach.
Yeah. I mean,
There's so much love there. There's so much love there.
Same answer. I'd love to be known for like championing other people. Like when I track my career, I can name people that have been incredible for my journey and have backed me and championed me. And to be that person for somebody else, it would just be like a dream. Like I don't want to reverberate, be world famous, I
don't think I can handle being like, I don't know, like an icon or a literary star or...
You deserve it.
I don't think I do. There are people who work a lot harder than me. But also that's not even... I'm not even getting into the weeds of that because it becomes like a complimentary thing. But it's just like, I don't think I have the wherewithal. I can really hold and enjoy the advocacy of others in a way that I'll never be able to enjoy the attention on me. But I need it a little bit. Then that's where it's fraught.
It's fraught, but
Yeah.
maybe we can be that for other people on their journey.
And maybe for each other.
And for each other.
I don't think we have. I don't think we have.
That's a good place to end.
So good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Was that the cut? Cut. Don't do that. They did it at the top.
I'm kidding.